The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread. Oh, our cousin! You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house and had been relaxing there for a while now. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you both settled on. So I guess that's why it's called family. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk about the musical she had gone to see a few days ago. It was unbelievable. There was singing, dancing, and crazy stunts, and it was all done live in front of my face. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see more shows like that. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she was good at it too. You had gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she put a lot of effort into it. You also liked to sing, but you weren't very good. You also liked to sing and had talent of your own. You didn't like to sing, but you had been told you were good at it, and you weren't good at singing, and that suited you fine. I'm gonna go with the first option. You also like to sing, but you weren't very good. Yeah, singing's fun along to songs, but I definitely don't have the talent for it. That didn't stop you from doing it, though. I wonder if maybe we can put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come and watch it too. It'd totally work. Yes, let's do it. I don't know about that. The idea gave you stage fright. Sure, I'll give it a go. That's not a good idea. It'd be embarrassing. Yeah, I'd probably go with the second one. I don't know about that. But wouldn't showing off to everyone be fun? The thought of an audience made you feel queasy. Not really.
Are you sure?
Are you really sure? You have so many skills. You could show off to the masses. Okay, I'll do it. I really don't want to. I'd rather do something else. I really don't want to. Sorry. Your cousin seemed a little disappointed, but she nodded and respected your wishes all the same. The two of you lay on the blanket and lazed in the sun, throwing ideas back and forth on what you could fill your time with. The beach was nearby, so you could go swimming or collect shells, or find something to do back at home after all. In the end, nothing was tempting enough to move you from your current position, so you continued chatting with Lee and nibbling on your snacks while the sun traveled in the sky overhead. So, how are your neighbors doing? You haven't spoken about them lately. You knew Lee wasn't talking about the neighbors generally or down the street. She wanted to hear about the Holdens across the road. It was no secret that she liked to keep up to date on what was happening with them, more specifically Cove. There weren't many other people your age around to talk about. They're okay, they're great. You rolled your eyes. I have no idea. I don't care. I have to find out soon. I'd probably roll my eyes if I knew her very well. What? I'm not allowed to keep up with stuff that's going on here? You let out a small amused breath. Lee loved to chat about others' relationships, and would always ask you for details on the people you both knew. Hey, did you want to see if Kova would join the picnic? He's busy this afternoon. I like it being just us sometimes. I wonder why we're leaving him out. See, I feel like the way I am is like, I like to hang out with as many of my friends as I can, if it's possible. So I'd probably go with he's busy this afternoon. Yesterday he said he and his parents were going out. They might be fishing on the docks by his dad's store. Aw, that's too bad. I bet he'll have a great time with his mom and dad though. The sun slowly began to set, the sky turning a rosy pink and then warm orange. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. Yeah, he's a good person. I really like him too. He's good, okay? Yeah, he's a good person. I knew you'd think so. So how much do you like him? Or maybe there's someone else that I haven't heard of yet. Lee wriggled her eyebrows at you, suggesting you knew exactly what she was implying. Lee, there's nobody I like that right now. No! This is so hard for me. This is legit. Oh my god. I can't. Oh my god, this is so hard. Because, like, I wonder if this would change my thing from fond to crush. God, I'm so sad. See, I wonder if I answer that, would it change the crush? Because it's like, I'm just too shy to say it. I can't answer that. These eyes sparkle and innocent, like she just hit the jackpot. Who is it? Why are these the options? I'm not giving you a name. Tell me something else about them then. News was just too exciting, she wasn't going to be deterred. You weren't surprised when Lee started squeezing you for more details, and you answered as much as you were comfortable with. The two of you talked about your preference and who you liked and stuff. You found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, both sides pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Yo, what is this? What? I feel like this is an intervention. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You hadn't interrupted something. Exactly what, you weren't sure. Wow, he died. What's going on? You looked between them but said nothing. Oh, hello? I feel like, what's going on? Your moms looked at each other, wondering which one of them was going to speak first. Eventually, Mom cleared her throat and spoke. Oh. We're just having a talk with your sister. The room fell quiet again, but no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try to keeping it a secret. Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mom's not in agreement with her. Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess it's obvious we're adopted. Her biological ones. The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand why was this happening now. When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. So this is actually kind of smart for the writers to do, because then we can make our character look like anything, and it's like, well, it makes sense because you're adopted. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought you'd actually stumbled into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from either of you. It's your right to know your past, but we didn't want to wait until you asked us to hear yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. Makes sense. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here? You weren't. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I gonna have to pass some tests to even be a citizen?
No.
You were adopted in the county. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against us. Elizabeth sighed, placated with the information, but still far from happy. Who are my parents as people? Why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support, before she gave her the answer.
I'm so sorry.
Sweetie, your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into details on the specifics how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on enraged. Great, so I can never meet them even if I wanted to? Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your mom and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs and to her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go and talk to her. Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her hand by the arm, and shook her head. I should give her a little space to process it all. Your Ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. With Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know after all. Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. It's really hard to put myself in this position because you know, I wasn't adopted. I have friends that are, and they've told me about it. And like, it's cool to hear how they think about it, because it's like, like one of my friends was telling me that she was turning 18 soon at the time, and she was like, I want to know. It doesn't mean I hate my parents any more than I do now. But yeah, I think we should wait. I mean, we're 13, still kind of young. No, I don't want to hear not right now. That's perfectly fine.
I understand.
You can always ask later if you ever change your mind. You smiled at them gratefully. It was nice to know they wanted to be open with you about the topic, even if it wasn't a talk you wanted to have now. No one seemed to have any words after that. You went up to your room. You needed to stay here with your moms. You wanted to get out of the house. You wanted to see Elizabeth. Okay, I might kind of hate my sister, but at the same time, I kind of want to be there for her. You were worried about Elizabeth, even though she had been so angry when talking to your moms about everything. You could see she was clearly sad. You headed over to the stairs and up to her room. I think I should lead my cousin, though. Like, we're close, but we're not, like, sibling close, you know? You left Lee in the living room. It would be best to speak to Elizabeth alone. There was more chance of her opening up to you that way. Waiting in front of your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There was no answer for a good minute or two, and when you jiggled the handle, you found it was locked. Raising your hand again, you knocked louder this time, thinking she must have her headphones on and so couldn't hear you. When she didn't answer the door a second time, it was clear to you that she either still couldn't hear you or was just straight up ignoring you. It hurt to be shut out, especially right now. Huh. I think I would go to my room. You went up to your room. When safely behind your closed bedroom door, you let out a heavy breath before heading over to take a seat on your bed. You lay back on your bed and stared up at the ceiling, tracing the outlines of the old crack and lines up there with your eyes. You had no idea what to do now, so you stayed where you were for a while, thinking everything through. Everyone had been so upset earlier, and you didn't really know what you could do to help. Eventually the sun finished setting, casting long shadows on your bedroom walls until the outside was enveloped by the dark night completely. A sudden knock drew your attention, causing you to sit up straight. When you realized it wasn't coming from the door, at the window, your head snapped towards it. You didn't even have to question who it was. There was only one person who would come tapping at your window, especially at night. You moved closer and looked out, sure enough, seeing the familiar head of green hair on the other side of the glass. In only a moment, you had the window unlatched and open for him to enter. Cove pulled himself in through the windows with ease, standing straight in your room and dusting himself off. Cove, what are you doing here? When he saw you, he seemed worried, and he ran a hand through his hair before speaking. I came to the front door. I just wanted to come by, but your moms told me they didn't know if you should be bothered right now, that I should come back later. I know they wouldn't have said it like if you were working on some school stuff or whatever, so I got worried. I thought something bad had happened. And then you climbed up the side of my house? He smiled, feeling unrepentant for disregarding your mom's ruling. How else was I supposed to get in? You couldn't quite believe he had really shown up for you like this, but then again, you shouldn't have been surprised. He was always there for you.
Okay.
Well, what happened? Cove pulled your desk chair next to your bed and sat down, his long legs pent in front of him. He fidgeted a little with your bed covers, not quite knowing what to say, but he was willing to wait. There's a lot going on right now. Cove looked at you in confusion, his eyebrows dipping. What is it? Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. See,
I'm so sorry.
about what's happening with Elizabeth, your parents, your family, everything. He stopped suddenly, and you got the impression he was struggling to find more to say. You know, Elizabeth and I haven't ever been super close, but I don't think she wanted her family to break up or drift apart, even if she complained about it sometimes. He smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related. You're definitely family. I can see that. And I hope you can too.